Adolf Hitler, 1889 to 1945. As a young man in Austria, Hitler was a frustrated artist who immersed himself in politics after Germany's defeat in World War I. He rose to power in Germany during its unstable Weimar years, becoming Chancellor in 1933 and Führer a year later. An anti-Semitic racist, Hitler strongly believed in far-right ideologies like fascism, German nationalism, territorial expansion, and Aryan supremacy. As leader, he constructed a sophisticated propaganda machine and rebuilt Germany's military in violation of the Treaty of Versailles. In foreign policy, Hitler rapidly expanded German territory through intimidation and armed forces. He remilitarized the Rhineland in 1936, annexed Austria and the Sudetenland of Czechoslovakia in 1938, then took the rest of Czechoslovakia in 1939. That year, Hitler shocked Europe by forming a non-aggression pact with communist USSR in order to divide and conquer Poland. When Britain and France declared war on Germany for invading Poland, World War II had begun. For the next several years, Hitler's forces achieved stunning victories across Western Europe and North Africa. However, Hitler's overconfidence led to strategic blunders. Despite warnings, he invaded the Soviet Union in 1941 without ensuring victory first over Britain. Facing a harsh Russian winter and Churchill's resilience, Germany was forced onto the defensive and began losing ground by late 1942. Isolated and delusional, Hitler took over military planning yet refused to retreat or yield power, even as Germany crumbled from within and the Allies closed in from both east and west. On April 30, 1945, as Soviet troops stormed Berlin, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker, leaving Germany in ruins after less than 12 years of fascism. Benito Mussolini, 1883 to 1945. Born in Italy, Mussolini lived a bohemian early life before serving in World War I. Influenced by Nietzsche and socialism, he lost faith in democracy and grew nationalist after the war. In 1919, Mussolini founded the fascist movement that incorporated Italian patriotism, militarism, and an anti-leftist agenda. His black shirts often used violence against opposition forces, but Mussolini charmed the public with fiery speeches promoting strength and prosperity. By 1922, Mussolini had seized power in Rome, retaining his title as Il Duce or fascist leader. He centralized government under the all-powerful executive and merged corporate power with the state to revitalize Italy's economy during the 1920s. However, Mussolini's totalitarian rule soon suppressed freedoms. Diplomatically, he first allied with Hitler's Germany, and in 1936, his reckless invasion of Albania marked Italy's imperial ambitions. In 1940, despite military unpreparedness, Mussolini thrust Italy into World War II on Hitler's side. But Italian forces quickly faced setbacks in North Africa, the Balkans, and on the Eastern Front. As damage mounted, the Italian people's support dwindled. Allied invasions of Sicily and mainland Italy in 1943 led to Mussolini's dismissal. The following year, with Germany on the retreat, partisans captured and killed Mussolini in Milan, leaving behind a once proud yet ultimately failed fascist regime. Hideki Tojo, 1884 to 1948, a staunch Japanese ultranationalist and general, Tojo rose steadily through the ranks of the Imperial Japanese Army. By 1930s, he was a powerful figure helping drag Japan down the path of militaristic expansion. Tojo strongly believed the emperor's divine role meant Japan must secure vital resources in Asia and rid the continent of Western influence. After disputes with the civilian government, Tojo became prime minister in 1941 with imperial backing. That October, under his leadership, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, drawing America into the World War. For over a year, Tojo oversaw impressive early Japanese conquests across Southeast Asia and the Pacific, which bolstered his dictatorship at home. However, Japan's overextension and strategic miscalculations soon led to defeat. The tide turned as U.S. industrial might overwhelmed Japan's dwindling resources. Deteriorating domestic conditions amid total war brought growing dissent. In 1944, Allied victories left Japan exposed, but Tojo stubbornly refused surrender. As U.S. bombing campaign decimated cities that year, Tojo resigned while still proclaiming victory possible. After the August 1945 atomic bombings and Soviet invasion, Japan surrendered. Tojo was subsequently tried and convicted as a war criminal, receiving a death sentence for waging wars of aggression, and was hanged in 1948. Ultimately, his radical ultranationalism helped lead Japan to catastrophe.